Hello, today we will be doing two folk tales at once because they are both very short and about witches. The first one is called The Witch and the Horseshoes, and the second one is Witches at the Cross. Now, I have never heard of these and I wasn't able to find any sources, so I'm not sure about the authenticity, but I found them quite funny and reminding me of other stories folk tales to each other, so why not? Here it goes! The Witch and the Horseshoes. There once was a farmer's wife, we don't know her name. She was a witch, and witches used to have a feast every eve of Saint Philip and Saint James. As soon as the fire started and the witches began burning their brooms, the farmer's wife wasn't able to stay home. She had to go. So she went to the roof, stripped her clothes off, and she oiled herself with some ointment. When she finished and was all nice and oily, she said, "Fly, but don't touch anything." And she flew away just like that. But the farmhand was watching all of this from the stables, and he saw where she put the ointment. So he took his clothes off as well and oiled himself into perfection. He said, "Fly, but don't touch anything." And he flew just like the witch. He arrived to a place where the witches were having their feast, but the farmer's wife saw him and quickly turned herself into a white horse trying to run away. But the farmhand didn't lose sight of the witch and mounted her. Now, he took the horse witch to a smith and told him to shoe it. The next day, the woman had 4 horseshoes on, 2 on her hands and 2 on her feet, and she stayed like that forever. So this is the end, but I think the witch ran away from her husband and his stupid farmhand and found a pretty witch who would get rid of her curse and they would live happily ever after. Of course. That's the end for me. But yeah, this was an experience, and on to the next one. Witches at the Cross. So there was a lot of witches all around apparently, but they were especially fond of climbing up and down the cross by the road near Malá Černá. Now, I would love to tell you where exactly, but the directions in the book are wrong. So Google doesn't show any place named Malá Černá near Slaný, which the book also mentions. But anyway, the cross. Joel heard of these witches and their funky cross, so he took his horse and rode there to see. He took a blessed piece of chalk with him, and when he arrived at the place, he drew a circle around him. He waited until midnight, and there it was. A swarm of witches ready to start climbing the cross up and down. They couldn't see him in the circle, but he was really smart and stepped out of it. The witches immediately went after him. He rode home at full speed. He got to his yard, witches close on his heels, but they could not go any further because they had no power to enter. But one of them flung a burning broom at him. The broom hit the door, and the door immediately burned. Now, Joe had quite enough of the witches. And I'm not even kidding, that's where the tale ends. Truly a great ending. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Consider subscribing, and if you did, I will see you next time. Bye bye!